Hi, how you going? It's Friday. It's freezing, as you can tell. Always, you can tell the winter. The Melbourne people, we've always got layers and layers on. Hey, today is day 5, and we're talking about. Well, I'm talking about. I mean, you can talk too. You can add any comments you want. You want to talk about anything particular. These are just the things that I've identified as getting in the way of standing in your power, stepping up, being all that you can be. So there was a lot of things that helped and something to focus on and work on. And then there was other things that did not help, which also you want to try and get right and try and reduce if they're not helping you, yeah? So distractions and reconnecting, so connection, right? So we're all, as a human being, need to be connected, right? It's one of the instincts, subconsciously and consciously, that all human beings have in common, yeah? So we need that to survive whether we know it or not, yeah? So it's one of those things that we must be connected. I think with the way that we live our lives now being so hectic and busy, and we spend a lot of it on our devices, a lot of it traveling for work, all that kind of stuff, things that really can make you kind of be a bit lonely, yeah, and a bit disconnected. So disconnected from your family, from your friends, from you just doing other things. So there's good things, like when I had my young boys, there was no Facebook. Can you believe that? No Facebook, right? So we didn't have, we didn't have all the groups and the connections and the way that we use Facebook, especially women. I love the way that we connect, right? And the way that we can share and we can have a laugh and we can put our hand up and say we need help or we've got a question. I love the way that we can connect that way, yeah? But of course, there is the downside, and that is distractions, using it to avoid things, procrastinate when you don't want to do jobs, or you're just finding things a little bit too overwhelming. So we turn to our phones to disconnect, yeah, which is weird, isn't it? So rather than connecting, we're actually using it to disconnect. So, but in some ways, I actually see our phones as creating a disconnect, yeah, rather than a connect. So, yeah, being overwhelmed, cluttered. I think it adds to the overwhelm. If you're spending too much time on it, you're actually not achieving and focusing on what you need to get done. So I think it can actually clutter your life, overwhelm your life, disconnect you. It can make you unorganized. So if I'm in a zone and I'm stuck, like I wrote this ebook, right, I find it really hard to go and do other things. Right? I'm in the zone and I need to get something done, yeah? I'm sure you feel like that if you're working as well. So I think it actually, spending too much time on our phones, for instance, I'm just using that as an example. There's other ways that we are disconnected, and I'm going to talk about how we're going to reconnect and bring ourselves back to our inner self, as to what we actually really want and what our values are and what's important to us, and try and bring it all back in so that you can feel connected and feel happy. So being disconnected can make you feel a little bit lonely, right? So spending too much time on our phones is not spending time with your loved ones. It's not spending time outside in nature. It's you need sometimes a real laugh with your friends or a hug, or you're not going to get that from Facebook or from your phone, right? From Instagram or Pinterest. Although it's inspiring, I love the inspiration that I can find out there and the people and what's going on in the world. I need to know that. Mind you, I didn't need to know it 10 years ago, so I don't know why I need to know it now. I don't know why it's so important to me now. But anyway, so I wanted to talk about what's causing distractions and reducing. If it's reducing your functioning, if you're happy with your daily routines, are you getting stuff done? Is it things like the negative news? Negative news really does have an impact, even though you're not sure, you're not realizing that. And sometimes I see stuff or hear stuff that I don't want to see. I don't want to hear. I want to stay positive, clear, focused on what I'm doing, what I've got to get done. I don't want to know about some of the terrible, I'm not saying not the terrible things, but there's some things you just can't unsee, right? And unfortunately, there's lots of stuff being shared out there that you can't unsee. You can't unthink, can't unsee. Now, that's not how I want to rule my day, right? I'm trying really hard to stay focused on what I want to focus on and what I'm think is important to me, right? And get it done, get what I need to get done, so that doesn't bite me in the ass later on, because I can guarantee you, if you're distracted and you haven't done the things that you need to do in your daily life, it's actually getting in the way of you doing things that you need to achieve, it does bite you in the ass, right? Because at the end of the day, you still have those things to do, right? They're not going to go away, yeah? Especially if you are a mum, they're not going to go away. They're still there, yeah? So I find, the negative information is also clutter. It's also overwhelm. It's also disconnecting, right? So if you can try and channel your energy and your focus on what you actually are valuing, what you actually think is important to you, and not get distracted by people messaging you at 7 in the morning or late at night because you just have to see who that was, you're actually letting everybody come in. You know, I think you have to guard what's coming in and when it's coming in. You can look at it any time, but maybe it's best that you actually set yourself some guidelines as to how much information you're allowing into your world and when it's coming in, right? So are you stopping and checking your phone all the time? Are you, are you just avoiding things that really need to get done? So this is a bit of a quick rant today, I suppose, but I wanted to just bring it up really about being disconnected, yeah? Because I think distraction, how can you focus on what you want? And maybe you've forgotten what you value and what's important to you because you're getting sidetracked all the time and you're actually not focusing on the positives, getting things done so you're not achieving what you wanted to achieve for the day, possibly feeling like you really are in a bit of a negative spiral, and you tend to react. The negative news I'd mentioned, you tend to react to that and spend your time wasting your time responding to that or reacting to that. So I think you need to also be mindful of what you're reacting to, where your energy is going. Yeah. So if you're going to focus on stuff that really is nothing to do with you, has nothing to do with you, really, like, just try and focus on what you're focusing on, yeah? My husband would be laughing his head off if he could hear me saying all this, right? Because it's often a conversation that we have about staying focused and getting the stuff done that you need to get done, rather than being distracted. Like, it's, we all suffer from this, right? I'm trying really hard to do better and be mindful and reconnect myself with what's actually important to me. So I've got some tasks for you to do, yeah? I mentioned them before. So things like rules about, like, now I don't reach for my phone in the morning, right? I make sure I get everything done, do a bit of exercise, make sure the lunches are done, have breakfast, make sure the kids are ready, all that. I don't touch my phone until I've got some free time, because I found that I was being distracted, right? I was actually answering messaging, early in the morning before I even got my act together. Like, it was really getting in the way, and it can be quite a habit because all of a sudden you've lost half an hour. Because you were just messaging. It even sounds dumb, right? Doesn't it? So same when you go to bed. Don't make it the last thing you do when you go to bed, like the last job, and bring your phone to bed. Like, you can easily lose an hour of rest and sleep because you think you're winding down, but the rule is 45 minutes before bed you turn all your screens off, right? So that's actually a proven time frame for your brain to unwind. If you keep looking at stuff and reading and surfing, it's not the same as reading a book, yeah? So it also probably affects your sleep and maybe your relationship. Maybe you're sitting in bed next to each other with our phones on. No, like, you don't want that. That's just not right, is it? So come up with some rules. So I want you to write down some rules about how you can, if this is affecting your life and you're not getting stuff done, focus on what you could do to create some rules around the distractions and what's causing your distractions, yeah? And children don't count, right? Obviously, children, they don't care. They're going to be distracting you every time that they need you. So there is no rule on that, yeah? Take some time out for yourself. So if you're wanting to reconnect, you need to be more mindful, right? You need some quiet time, some thinking time. You need exercise. You need some nature. If you want to reconnect, you need something to reconnect to, right? So you work out what's valuable to you. You might write down all the things that are important to you. Just to remind yourself, even if you did that every morning, right? Write down all the things that are important to you. Write down what you want to get done hourly, what you want to get done daily, what you want to get done weekly, right? Try and make an intention, whether it be the night before, so you already know what you're working to the next day, or every morning when you get up, write it down. Write down your hourly intention, yeah? So that will help to try and refocus you. And if you do feel disconnected, bring your family, go and see them, go out with have a couple, just break the pattern, go out and have a couple with a girlfriend, go for a walk around the block. You need to create that free space in your head to de-stress, to rejuvenate, to review how things are going for you. If it's not working for you, have a look at that habit, yeah? So you've got to reconnect your mind and your body together as well, right? So that's where writing down what is really important to you, what you value, right? So you want to reconnect with what you really want and your purpose, right? So what makes your heart sing? What would you like to do every day? Or what would you like to achieve every day? Or how do you want to feel every day? You don't want to feel like it's just mounting up on you because you just ignored it pretty much, and you procrastinated and you avoided it because you decided to surf your phone instead, right? And it can be fun, I get it, but eventually those things just start piling on top of you if you have not tackled it, and you don't feel very powerful. You actually feel overwhelmed and behind the 8 ball. So if you want to get up and be organized, do not look at your phone first thing in the morning. Get going, get doing the things you have to get done, yeah? So taking time out for yourself, quiet time, take the time. It can be anything you want, right? Just take some space. So I wanted to, in the document, which I have talked to you about, the free download, by the way, it's in the post. You can download this document, this ebook that I created. It's got a link to some YouTube relaxation music, which is divine, right? It's beautifully visual as well, and I actually give it to Lachlan before he goes to bed. And that, for some reason, just puts him right to sleep because he has trouble sleeping and settling down, yeah? So his name's Jason Stevenson. It's on YouTube, and he's got squillions of it, and it's divine, right? So trying to find something that will help you be more mindful and reconnect. Maybe it's noticing the nice moments, the beauty of the flowers, the fun, the joy, the humor, the small stuff, being present. And I think that's a major thing when it comes to reconnecting, because you want to feel joyful, you want to feel happy, you want to appreciate the moments and not miss anything, yeah? So if we're too busy being overwhelmed because we've got our head on our, I was going to say up our bum, but maybe it's in your screen, right? Maybe you've stuck on the phone too long and you're wasting your energy and your time on just crap. Try and work out what you'd like to feel. If you want to feel joyful, happy, don't look at the negative shit on the Facebook. Don't watch the news. Just try and, this is if you're having trouble, right? This is if it's a problem. I talked about the fact that not everything I've talked about in this 10-day challenge will be a problem for people, right? But I do know women that are disconnected and distracted and use it to avoid all the overwhelm. They're overwhelmed, right? So it's like a tool that they use it. So if you want to be reducing overwhelm, feel happier, appreciate the moments, you need to be present. So try and use that mindfulness to reconnect, right? And have a look at Jason Stevenson for the beautiful relaxation music. There's also a free app called Calm, right? So it just gives you a little, it is visual, but it gives you sounds, so rainforest, beach, that kind of thing. And I sometimes just listen to that on my phone, yeah? And I used to give that to Lockie as well. So let's just get some tools under your belt to try and get this happening if it is a problem. And can you comment and tell me how you're going if it is an issue for you, if you do feel disconnected and you don't know what you value anymore, you don't know what's important to you, please let's have a chat about that and see if you can write down some of those things, yeah? So if your day is being ruled by other people's messages, your phone, texting, you need to put those rules in, yeah? Swap the task. Say, if you don't want to look at your Facebook, read a couple of chapters of your book or a couple of pages of your book. So get your focus back on what's important and you will feel less distracted and more connected, yeah? So that's it for the day. I hope that was helpful, and I find that it's an ongoing struggle, right? It's an ongoing struggle for me. I assume it's an ongoing struggle for a lot of people, yeah? And we do forget how to connect to what's around us, and we tend to avoid and ignore, yeah? All right, so if you've got any questions, please message me, no problem at all. I've got a special on health coaching, which is running out tonight at midnight. I probably should have mentioned this earlier. And it's an hour coaching session with me. at 50% off. And then there's also a free 30-minute follow-up that comes with that. So it's awesome. It's normally $90 for an hour. So it's $45 for an hour's coaching session plus the 30-minute follow-up call. And we do this over the phone, right? So it's no biggie, and we work on what's been happening for you. We talk about that and talk about what you'd like to focus on and what you'd like to change. Yeah. So if you're interested in that, message me as well. That runs out. That sale special runs out tonight. So it's a bit late to tell you now, but you know what? I think I could probably sneak you over the line if you didn't get back to me quite before midnight. But anyway, message me if you're interested, and we can organise a time for your call. All right. So have a great day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.